Hello, sports fans, and welcome to another episode of the Ocean Star Sports Show. I'm your host, sports reporter Dominic Polio. I've got 4 highlights for you for this week, so let's get right into it. First up, Point Borough softball versus Shore Regional on a beautiful Saturday morning. Here is the highlight. The Point Borough softball team had a tough matchup against the Blue Devils of Shore Regional Saturday morning. The Panthers battled but ultimately lost by a score of 7-3. Shore Regional jumped out early with a 3-run homer in the first and then scored another in the second on this pickoff at second base from Borough. The Blue Devils scored again on a hit up the middle in the fourth, but Borough was able to close the side with a nice throw from behind the plate and a nice tag from Olivia Youngman at first. The Panthers then got on the board with their turn to bat in the bottom of the inning. Haley Furlong lined a pitch to the center field fence for a leadoff double. Then Kate Drew hits the perfect ball down the third base line to bring home Furlong for the score. Maeve McKeon followed suit with a hit to the gap in right center to bring home Drew and another run for Borough before Shore closed out the inning. The Panthers were down 5-2 and the fifth went scoreless before Shore Regional increased its lead in the sixth. A shallow hit to center scored 1 run, and then a sacrifice fly to center scored the other. Furlong drove in one last run for Borough in the bottom of the 7th with this perfectly placed ball over first. But the Blue Devils then closed out the win on a strikeout, and Borough comes up short 7-3. Man, those Panthers have some tough teams on their schedule, but the good news is they hang with the best of them. Point Borough did pick up their second win of the season later on in the week. We're going from softball to boys lacrosse, sticking with Point Pleasant Borough as the Panthers hosted the Lions of Middletown North. It was a nail-biter, and I've got all the highlights. Enjoy. The Point Borough boys lacrosse team displayed perseverance and drive in an exciting 9-8 win over Middletown North. The Panthers erased an early first quarter deficit to get the win at home. The Lions broke the ice with a goal just over a minute into the first quarter. Borough wasted little time though, and it was Tanner Gordon who equalized on the very next possession. Then with half of the quarter left to play, it was Trevor McNamara with an absolute rocket of a goal for the lead. I slowed it down so you can see it. The goalie had no chance. The Lions immediately responded with an equalizer, kicking off a 5-0 run to close the first quarter. Borough's defense was on its heels, and the Panthers were trailing by 4 goals to start the second. Borough remained tough and battled its way back, starting with a goal from Kyla Rossi on the feed from McNamara. The Lions answered with a hard-fought goal through traffic, but the rest of the half belonged to Borough. Gordon scored the next goal, pulling down a rebound and making a nice move before beating the goalie. It was Colin Zawacki who scored next, scooping a ground ball and ripping a shot with 1:05 left in the half. McNamara found the net one last time for Borough before the end of the quarter with this left-handed rope. At the half, Borough was only trailing by 1. The second half was intense, with Rossi scoring Borough's first equalizer with 6.5 minutes left in the third. Shortly after, the Lions took advantage of a breakaway to reclaim the lead. Again, Borough entered the final quarter behind a goal. It was a long 9 minutes before Borough scored his equalizer, this time thanks to Nash McLean being in the right spot at the right time. With the game tied 8-8, it was Rossi on the assist from Zawacki with the go-ahead score and eventual game winner. The Lions had one last opportunity with 15 seconds left in the game, but Rossi stepped up first, forcing a loose ball. The Lions were able to regain possession, but a shot bounces off the back of the goal and Parker Ronson jumps after it immediately, diving for it. Ronson eventually gets possession, keeping the Lions at bay to close out the win. The Panthers celebrate a solid, hard-fought victory over Middletown North, 9-8. And that, my friends, is defense winning a close game. Great job by Kyla Rossi with the game winner. Great job, all Panthers, with the tying goals. It was hard fought from start to finish, and it was a fantastic game to witness. We're going from one fantastic game to another fantastic game as 2 Brick Township teams clashed on the softball field. That's right, the Green Dragons hosted the Mustangs of Brick Memorial in a crosstown rivalry game in the rain. It was a good one. The Brick Township Brick Memorial rivalry lived up to the hype with a wet and wild softball game Monday morning. Through the rain, it was the Dragons who held off a late Mustangs rally to win the game. The Mustangs scored first on a Tori Lucarelli single in the first, but the Green Dragons jumped all over Memorial in the bottom of the inning. With the bases loaded and no outs, a walk scored the first run. Then Christine Frazee hit an RBI single, and Marissa Narwold followed suit with another RBI single. Jamie Fogarty flied out on a strong track down and grab from Nicole Acocella in left, bringing another run across for Brick Township. Erica O'Rourke loaded the bases again with a hit to center, and the next run came on catcher's interference. As you can see here, the bat hit the catcher's mitt on the swing, and an automatic base for the batter. Nicole DiGiovanni then grounds out to score another run, and one more walk put the Dragons up 7-1 before the Mustangs closed the inning on a catch at third. O'Rourke scored another on a double in the bottom of the second for the Dragons, and the Mustangs answered in the third with another RBI single from Lucarelli. In the bottom of the inning, Frazee smacked another RBI single, which Narwold followed up with a hit to right field that scored another Dragons run. After 3, the Mustangs were behind 10-2. The Mustangs managed a run in the 4th on a Jordan Raczynski double. And Brick Memorial went on to make a pitching change in the bottom of the inning, bringing in Jenna Pfister. The Dragons were able to score on back-to-back steals of home plate on pass balls before Alexa Haley hit a ground rule double over the left field fence for yet another run. Pfister eventually closed the inning with a strikeout, and the Mustangs were behind 10 runs to start the 5th. But the Mustangs never gave up. Alyssa Philbin hit a pitch to center to score 2 runs for Brick Memorial. The Mustangs rallied again in the 6th inning as the Dragons' defense struggled with some tough bounces. Another Lucarelli single on a ball in no man's land brought across Brick Memorial's 9th run of the game. Only leading by 4, the Dragons were looking for some extra breathing room, and it came in the form of back-to-back home runs. The first off the bat of Corinne Connolly. A nice powerful swing from the catcher there, and that ball is out of here. Hallie smacked the next home run over the center field fence, putting the Dragons out in front 15-9. But again, the Mustangs were far from finished. Hit after hit kept bringing Mustang players around the bases as they slowly worked closer and closer to the Dragons' lead. But in the end, it was Christine Frazee who stepped up with a strikeout to claim the final out of the game and the win for Brick Township, 15-13. Man, if that doesn't get you excited for the next time the two teams meet, I don't know what does. But I do know I will be there for the next installment of Brick Township Softball versus Brick Memorial Softball. Now, I hate to end the show with a loss, but it was a good, strong, competitive game for the Brick Township boys lacrosse team. They hosted a tough, hard-nosed Homedale team at Drum Point Sports Complex in Brick. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the highlight. The Green Dragons were looking to break a small 2-game skid, but could not find the net enough times against Homedale to pull out a victory. The Hornets broke ground first after a long 8 minutes of no scoring, but exactly 1 minute later, Mickey Holland put the Dragons on the board with a goal. The first quarter closed tied at 1. Homedale then managed to smack home a loose ball on the ground for the first goal of the second half. They then scored another shortly after for the 2-goal lead. Before the first half closed out, though, it was Will Swiderski with a skipper past the goalie to pull the Dragons within a goal. Only trailing 3-2, Brick Township looked to get back in the game in the third. Unfortunately, a penalty in the third left them a man short, and the Hornets found the net to increase their lead to 4-2. In the fourth quarter, Holmdel scored 3 consecutive times to further push its lead to 7-2. The Dragons kept fighting, and it was Richie Cosgrove who added one last score for Brick Township before time expires. Brick Township comes up short, losing 7-3 to Holmdel. Tough loss for the Dragons, but they will bounce back and look forward to facing crosstown rival Brick Memorial tonight at Veterans Memorial Middle School. Make sure you're there. I will be. That is the final highlight of today's Ocean Star Sports Show, but as always, there is plenty more in the actual newspaper. So make sure you pick up today's copy of the Ocean Star. The sports section starts on page 33. In the meantime, you can follow me on Twitter at Dompolio. That's at DOMPOLLIO. I'm like, 60 followers away from 900, but really trying to break 1,000. So get on Twitter, follow me, scores, updates, shout-outs, you name it, I got it. As always, I'd like to thank you guys for stopping by and checking out this show. I will be back again next week with more highlights for you, so I hope to see you return. That being said, signing off for Star News Group, I'm Dominic Polio, wishing you a happy weekend.